Today, you're going to teach us about Qigong. So let's start off with the question of what is Qi?
Hello, everyone, and hello, Michael. Honestly, it's so much fun to be here, and I'm glad to share some ideas about Qigong because a lot of people haven't even heard of it, and I think it's a crime. So let's get this thing started. Qigong is originally from China and it's about 4,000 years old. So it's not a modern woo woo that will sort your life out completely. That is based on experience and tradition. And it's there, it works because it's fantastic. So Qi and Gong, two different words. Qi is the life force energy. That is the energy that moves you or moves through you, that starts your heart beating, that you can see in your movement. So, for example, a rock doesn't have a Qi, a piece of plastic doesn't have a Qi, but a stag beetle has a Qi, a butterfly has a Qi, human being has a Qi. That is our life force energy. That is magical. No one knows where it comes from, and no one knows where it goes when we die or when we leave our body. We can talk about that. So, this is our life force energy that cannot be really scanned. So modern science can work on organs like the lung, like the heart when we die. But how about those emotions that we experience throughout our lives? They cannot really measure it. How about your anger? How can we sort out your anger? And it's still there. It's mysterious. People just don't know. So Qi is your life force energy, and Gong is the skill to use it, to enhance it, to work with. So Qigong is when you are able to work with your life force energy.
Wow. And you got into this in the past few years, I believe, but there's a long, long story of Tamas way before that. You grew up in Hungary. Now you're in London. Um, let's talk about Qigong aside. Um, what your life in Hungary was like at that time and what Hungary was like. And this might seem like a completely left field question that's not connected to Qigong, but there's an energy of a place. There's a way a place is and the way that therefore the people in there are, their minds and their bodies. So this may or may not connect back to Qigong, but knowing you, it probably will. Let's talk about Hungary in your childhood and your young adulthood or whatever when you were there. And then maybe what pulled you to go to London.
That is really, really interesting because Hungary is a wonderful country. It's beautiful. If you go there, I promise you, you're going to love it. People are kind, but still, for me, something was missing. You cannot always explain certain things, you just feel it. You can talk about gut feelings and intuitions that I wasn't even aware of at that time. But something was kind of pulling me back, and I couldn't be myself. For moment of times, I was happy and relaxed, but most of the time, to be honest, I lived in general anxiety. And my parents did their best. All parents do their best. But we all know all parents will mess up somehow. It's just a question how they will mess us up. But that is part of our journey. So I did my best and it just didn't click. And at the age of 26, when I went through certain challenges in life, I decided to start to learn English. And I cannot explain where it came from. I wasn't taught English at school at all. 27 years of age, I decided to come to the UK. And it was 23 years ago, and I'm still here and I'm loving it. So my energy just wasn't as vibrant over there because I was disconnected from myself. So I had to come to the UK to completely collapse and like a phoenix, and start everything from my ashes. And here I am now. I'm getting closer to my full potential. I can smile every day. My energy is right. And that is what I help my client with. No matter where you are, no matter what you are going through, you need to find where your energy is the best.
What were some of the things that you were going through, or those challenges that you faced in your early mid-20s, if you don't mind talking about them?
No problem at all. Before I came to the UK, I always had that many people face the same challenge. We compare ourselves to others. And that all the time comparing ourselves is just questioning our importance in life. Why are we here on planet Earth? It just made things worse. So why, for example, my classmates in the primary school, they know what they want to become and I have no idea. Why what I'm studying in the secondary school has absolutely no interest to me whatsoever, and other people love it. So these type of things, when something just didn't click and I didn't understand at that time, we need to fail at certain things in life to eliminate those parts where not to invest our energy. And that will take us closer to discover who we really are.
And when did Qigong come into the picture? You're not in your 20s anymore, I don't think. Maybe you are. No offense. But yeah, when did Qigong come in, and why did you need it then, and why did it work?
There is a word a lot of people use, and that is a phrase that is called midlife crisis. But
Oh,
now I reframe it and I call it midlife opportunity. Midlife crisis, I don't know how people would describe it, but for me, it was when everything fell apart. No matter what I was believing in, it's gone. I realized it didn't work. So I need to put everything to the bin, no matter what I've been doing before, and let's be open for no matter what comes. Let observe, let be adventurous. And that was the way for me. So what happened, I was 45 years of age when COVID came. I used to work as a conference services manager. So in a conference center, my job was to make our clients happy, sort every issue out, and make sure they come back next time and bring the money to the business. And I was rather good at it. Unfortunately, I was so disconnected from myself in the process to please so many people and drain my energy. I didn't have energy for my ex-wife. So when the company decided not to reopen my venue, that was just one event. My ex-wife decided to leave me. That was the second event. My ex-wife decided to leave me with my greatest love, with my 4.5 years old son. That was really, really hard. I lost a lot of money in the process that added to my pain and misery. But these things all had to happen when I realized I don't need to look outside for answers. The answers will be inside. So that was the perfect opportunity to start to look inside and work on myself. And that's when I said, I will be open for anything and everything that will have any interest. So that opens my eyes. And I was listening to, I don't know, hundreds of audiobooks on YouTube. And once an advertisement came up about Qigong. And I said, hold your horses. What was that again? Let me just repeat this and let me just follow this guy. And I started my thirst about Qigong started to grow. And I realized it's such an art form. It's a therapy. It's wisdom. It's a lifestyle. It's exercise. It's longevity. It's healing. It just absolutely still fascinates me. So I'm going to be 50 years old this Wednesday, and there is not a single day when I do not do or practice Qigong because I love it, not because I have to. not because it looks good, not because I'm supposed to, because I'm inspired to, and I love it.
Yeah, we did a lesson together a few weeks ago, and that was my first time to experience qigong, and I don't know how to describe it. It was an amazing feeling. I can. There are a few firsts in my life that were unforgettable, and they like reshaped my perception, the way I see myself, the way I see the world, changing. I mean, myself in so many different ways. Like I said, it's hard to describe, and I should just stop bumbling. But yeah, maybe like for example, the first time I went into a flotation sensory deprivation tank, that was like a wow moment, and I started laughing, and I was just smiling, and yeah, the first time and second time, and well, every time I took psilocybin mushrooms, I also had this same kind of smile on my face and this wow every time I was uncovering something new. And maybe the first time you kiss, or there's all these first, and qigong was kind of one of these. But also, what I see all of these things have in common is it was this experience of feeling connected to something larger and being like, wow, I'm not just this alone, pathetic little thing or whatever. I'm connected to all of this, and you felt immersed into it all, part of the whole, flowing like this river or something. I don't know, like it's really hard to explain, but that feeling of being part of it all, and seeing how the things connect, is amazing. Is an amazing feeling, and qigong's a especially amazing one because you could just do it wherever, whenever. You don't need a, and it's legal, etc.
What you said is wonderful because you were talking about connection, and that is what we all human beings craving for. But there are two different connections. You mentioned one connection to everything else around us. You can call it nature or invisible forces that created the universe. There is gravity as an invisible force. So invisible forces direct our lives or determine our lives. And we human beings, because of a certain part of our mind, we believe we are the center of the universe. And clearly we are not. So the connections are you connect to the greater wholeness. And secondly, you reconnect with your true self. You don't always look outside for answers, but you slow down and start to look inside. How do I feel? Where do we have pain, stagnation, discomfort? We are so busy, we are completely disconnected from these subtle signals that would help us to create the best life we possibly can create.
That self is, it feels very simple, very, I mean, it's special, but it just feels this like it's this, I don't know, this body in the earth. I don't know, there's something kind of sad about that. It's like when I'm doing qigong, or I don't want to compare it to psychedelics, but yeah, there's some similarities in some ways. You kind of do lose that ego, and some of those layers of identity fade away, and there's some angry dogs out there. But I can't get distracted. So, but it sounds like it's like this nice feeling of feeling like I'm not above all this. I'm just I don't know. I'm just another being. But yeah, how do you how did your identity change for yourself, and how would you describe this shift in the way you perceive yourself the more you do qigong? I'm not very good at explaining it, obviously. So, what are your thoughts?
Thought is what I was craving all the time to get more connected with myself and others. I'm improving, definitely improving. I'm more connected to my gut feeling. I'm more connected to my intuition. And that is something it was unheard of for me till the age of 45. And now there is an incredible world that was still there, available for everybody all the time, and I just wasn't aware of. And it's absolutely magical because it helps us to unite, to get together everything else around us and live in harmony with life. Do not be afraid of the huge waves. while we are at sea, because we know we have a surfboard and we know how to surf it. So life will throw certain challenges at us. But this is when you are connected and you feel you are never alone and you are guided, supported, and it all will be fine. And that is fantastic. You have clarity. You are connected with your body, with your feeling, with your intuition, and you are never alone. And that will be a fantastic feeling for anybody who does Qigong or certain mindfulness activities for long enough.
Some people have not tried Qigong. A lot of us have not. How would you describe it for people who might be a bit confused right now? And yeah, you described it a bit earlier, but like what do we actually do in Qigong?
Fantastic. Qigong has certain pillars that we do. It's really, really challenging to summarize it. If you guys would have a look at my YouTube channel, you would see different exercises that would help you visually to understand what is happening. But in a nutshell, what we are doing there, we harmonize a slow movement with gentle breathing. And that will distract our always busy mind, focusing on itself, the ego, to something else and relax it. And that is when we can reconnect with ourselves. And how we do that? We lubricate our joints, we warm up our muscles before that to have this life force energy run through us. We awaken the energy, sometimes with tapping, sometimes with stretching. And we can improve our muscles as well. There are certain techniques for that. But this is mostly at the end, that is a moving meditation that will get us into a state of connectiveness or receptiveness. And that is when, no matter how strong the storm is, you are in a safe place, you are in a shelter, and you know everything is going to be fine.
How would you describe these movements? When I did it, I felt like a lot of their movements had sort of a circular kind of wavy kind of motion to it, but I'm completely new to this, so I might just be saying a general pattern. What is the general or more specific kind of patterns that are being done in Qigong? They're different than, say, movements we normally do in modern life. We might move like that, but most people don't move like that these days.
Well spotted, Michael. It's really, really important. Most exercises, especially in the Western world, is linear, is competitive. Qigong moves in kind of waves. Just imagine the water. It doesn't go straight at something. It follows where the deepest place is and gets there. So it's just, if you imagine your energy, that energy moves effortlessly. You do not force anything. There is one saying in Qigong, there is no pain, there is no pain. So as soon as you become receptive, you reduce the opportunities for injuries. You do not get injured because as soon as you receive the signal from your body, you stop or modify the exercise. So no injuries. And you get just better and better, more flexible and full of, honestly, life. This is how I can describe. So in nature, if you look at it, everything moves in spirals. Look at the universe, how the planets are moving around. Nothing is just straight. Like, for example, running 100 meters and that is the focus and I need to get there faster. No, you are part of the journey. You need to learn how to join to the natural flow of life. And Qigong helps us to connect to that natural flow.
And there are lots of different exercises. I was looking them up. Some of them mimic the movements of, rivers and clouds and things like that, but also animals. So how do animals move, or certain animals that are used in Qigong?
So many years ago, when Qigong was evolving, of course, from shamans, and it's interesting because your podcast is called
Brain Shaman.
Mind Shaman, yes.
Yeah.
So we didn't always had that opportunity to go to the dentist or go to the hospital if we had any injuries or pain or discomfort. We used to rely on certain people who connected to nature or themselves and had a certain knowledge. Now, when the Taoists came, they spent plenty of time to observe nature, and they realized nature doesn't waste energy. Nature always uses as much as it's available, nothing more and nothing less. So they observed animals as well, and they got these certain type of animals and looked at their characteristics. So there are different, it's not complicated. We just have a short time to explain everything, and it's all connected. There are 5 major animals. That is one of the most ancient practice of Qigong, the 5 animal Qigong. These animals move differently, and they have different characteristics as well. Because Qigong isn't only about the body, it's about the mind and spirit connection as well. So, for example, let's pick on the monkey. The monkey is the heart. The monkey is joyful, is playful. And we humans, we need to be connected to our heart and learn to become childlike again, to enjoy the journey, not to take ourselves too seriously, because it's boring. You get to the age of 70, you retired, you've got the money, but you cannot move your body, you cannot smile, you don't have real connections. So what's the point, really? So monkey is fun, joy, and mischief. That is what we need. But we need, for example, the bird or the crane that is connected to our lung. And that is a different perspective. That is when we go above the everydays and we look for different opportunities or outcomes. That is more wisdom. That is more calm. And there is the bear that is connected, grounded, moving slow but still powerful. There is the tiger who can get extremely angry, agitated, but also get the nurturing mother tiger power that looks after the cubs. And we have the deer. The deer is the water element that is connected to the kidneys. And that is our natural energy, the flow. And do not get stuck in life, but move with joy and natural flow, like a river.
Actually, speaking of river, when preparing for this episode, for whatever reason, I was listening to some music, and one song that came up was "Weightless" by Macaroni Union, and that song itself, maybe you don't know it, but people can watch it on YouTube or whatever. It had this kind of flowy kind of sound to it, and then if you watch the music video, I'd never seen the music video. It's like these little UFOs or something above a body of water, and they're moving in the same pattern as the water. It's like this little natural dance of, I don't know, whatever these lights are above the water are. And so I guess the question is or the observation is, Qigong is not only in our bodies, it seems to also be in the things that we create, things like music and movies and books and language and all of these different things. So maybe you haven't thought about it, but are there any, I don't know, bands or movies or stories or something that you feel exemplify the principles from Qigong, or the opposite of like this kind of movie or this book is sort of the opposite of what Qigong is trying to achieve? I can think of, I don't know, some basic ones myself. Maybe like, for example, I mean, Qigong is not Brave New World or 1984 or something. It could be something like Fight Club or I don't know, Avatar or something. I don't know, but what are some thoughts if you have any yourself?
Well, that is really, really interesting. I wasn't thinking about that
I know.
before, and I do not really have an answer.
That's
What I
okay.
do have is uh, Qigong is effortless. Creativity comes from that place when we get into a flow state. Either you do something or you just connect with yourself, but when you get into nature's rhythm, you will have those light bulb moments, those creative ideas. So, creativity is killed by stress. Qigong helps us to transform stress to vital energy and inner peace. And that is when we become more creative as well. And let me just think, you know what? Qigong is that music or movie that is absolutely different for everybody when you get to a different state of mind, when you are completely almost leave your body. I can tell you one thing that happened to me. I'm really sure many people can relate. When you were a child and you went to the cinema the first time and you saw something and you just opened your eyes, opened your mouth, and the world stopped. You became that experience, that movie. And 1.5 hours after, when they closed the curtains, you just said, "Oh my God, that was awesome." So that is when you are part of the experience for 1.5 hours, or a piece of music. That is you. That is Qigong. That is when you connected. And that is where is no stress, just effortless being.
And for whatever reason, you going to the UK maybe was sort of like going to that movie theater. I know it's going to be different for everyone. It's not, maybe it might not be about the UK per se. Maybe it's just it's a new place and you feel free from the constraints of your own culture, or maybe it's something inherent in the place at that time and Hungary. But it sounds like maybe also something similar is happening when you change the location. But
Every place and time has the energy and the memory. In Hungary, I was trying different places, but it still didn't click. I cannot explain why I had to come to the UK. I had to go through those challenging and painful life events. That was really, really, really tough. That's why I had to figure it out myself, because help wasn't available. There is, I cannot explain. I had no spiritual connection till the age of 45. I see utterly differently now. Now I can think about certain things like maybe I was guided to come here. Maybe I had to face these challenges to grow to a certain position to find myself. Maybe that is my destiny, to become a helping practitioner and share my wisdom with others to reduce their pain and suffering. I don't know, but I'm just enjoying the ride. That is what I can do. My focus is to come alive and help other people to do the same.
yeah, and I guess you were in the yang side of your life. You were in your youth, so you took the action, which maybe you wouldn't be able to take at a later age when you're falling more into yin. But hopefully, there's a place where we can have the mix of the yin and yang together, and maybe that's what you have now. But and I want to believe that you can have that sweet harmony of yin and yang uh, in your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. But it seems like we get stuck on one extreme or the other through the ages of our lives.
What you said, the yin and yang. Yin, for example, the water, yang is the fire, yin is the softness and rest and relax and recover. Yang is the action and resorts and energy. If you do either of them too much, you will be out of balance. You need them both. And as you said, to find that harmony between them, that is, you can find that harmony, but I challenge you, how long you can keep that harmony. And that is what I was chasing, because I had too much yang, too much inertia, too much stress, too much discomfort, and never was peaceful. Or even if I tried many those things that seem to help you to feel better. Coping mechanisms, that's the word. For example, I was drinking alcohol for decades, and it was great for the first couple of beers, but after, when you drink too much, it will be even worse and more pain in your life. So what I'm saying is to find a way where you can keep that harmony, that yin and yang in your life longer. That is fantastic, that I never found before. Now, Qigong for me is one of the tools that helps me to create that harmony longer.
Wow. So it's like what drugs do. Well, a lot of drugs do is it brings us to the other side, the yin or the yang, whatever we're missing. But it seems to like bolt us into that direction too quickly, and then it snaps us back to the other end even harder. So we're never really in harmony, except for like maybe the first few times you try it, or the first few minutes, the first few beers. So, but it's a really tempting trick, because it does sort of work in the beginning or temporarily, but it's not a very good long-term strategy. How did you stop smoking and drinking all that, and how did was Qigong part of that, or was it just like a separate
No, not at
thing
all, not at all.
earlier?
It was different. When I stopped smoking, I found something better to trade that satisfaction that smoking was giving me for something better. When I swapped drinking alcohol, I swapped it for something better. When I swapped alcohol, it gave me that clarity. Of course, when you are drinking alcohol, you are not the most receptive student. When you have hangover, you are definitely the worst student. And what I needed to absorb fresh information, to absorb something new I was missing in my life. And with alcohol, it clearly didn't work. I was craving for a solution because I was in pain. So when I decided to get rid of alcohol, it's a long story. I wasn't deciding, it just happened to be. I can talk about it on another day.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
without alcohol, that opened the door for me for Qigong, because I became more observer, not only for the teachings, but for my inner world. And that's what I needed to do. I can help other people to get rid of their coping mechanisms. I can help them to trade it for something better. But everybody has a different journey. I'm on mine. It's never perfect, but I'm not chasing perfection. I'm chasing a sustainable energy that drives me further and further and further, when I can do more and more good things.
Yeah. And I noticed you're often smiling. Not, I mean, not just with your mouth. You're smiling. You're with your whole body all the time, and it's hard for a lot of people to um, retain that kind of energy and actual positivity. And when I did qigong too, I just spontaneously started smiling, and also my body was tingling. First, it started in my hands, but then my whole body started kind of buzzing and tingling, and that's a common experience. But it kind of goes along with the smile, and it's not something I chose to do or expected it would happen, but it just emerged out of me, and it seems to be coming out of you sort of on an everyday basis now, or at least each time we've met.
Our energy is contagious. You can share your stress with others, and you can share your love and joy and enthusiasm with others. I've chosen the second one. And not only I chose it, but as soon as you do not fight with life anymore, but you surrender, you become part of nature, and you will realize smiling, being kind is naturally you. Look at children and learn from them. Are they judgmental? Are they causing deliberate pain to the others. No, they are caring, kind, nurturing, loving, joyful, experimental, adventurous. That's who we really are. We just got so much mud on our journey towards adulthood, we forgot who we really are. If you get closer to that person who you used to be as a child without anything downloaded into your hard drive from your society, you will find a loving and kind person. I'm getting closer to that person who is really me. And you will see, if you will be on your journey, you will be smiling just as much as I do.
And this ties back up to connection then. I was walking home today, and sometimes I look at the racing bicycles. They're not actually racing, but they're very fast, and I'm not scared of them necessarily, but I do judge them, like get off the sidewalk or whatever. Anyway, I normally have this for this negative judgmental energy towards these bicycles, and especially the motorbikes. But today, for some reason, I saw this guy on his bicycle, and we just smiled at each other, and I thought, wow, isn't that nicer? And it's like these smiles and this eye contact and these, I guess, maybe certain gestures, like a waving, of course, in a gentle way. It's connecting us, not just in the word like, oh, we're connected. It feels like it's actually the energy is leaving my eyes and my body out of my mouth, and his energy is coming out. And like if you had some special goggles or something, like there would be actual physical chi coming between us, not being all clogged up in myself. And so it's like, whoa, we're clogging up in ourselves so much when we're judging and when we're angry, which is, I guess, a kind of judging. But then when we just let go, it's like, whoa, we feel connected, but I think there's actual connection too. So that's really nice. Yeah, I should stop swearing at bicycles.
Well, as soon as you are judging, a certain part of your brain, your ego, you can call it your ego, is in charge. But as soon as you realize there is no negative things or positive things, there is absolutely a positive side of a negative happening and the negative side of a positive happening. As soon as you realize you are no longer judgmental, you are in love because you accept things as they are. If you do not overreact things, oh my God, it's fascinating, it's fantastic, or do not judge it, really, oh, that is terrible, I'm going to hate it. But you accept things as they are, there is no inertia. You set yourself free, you become loving. And as soon as you share that non-judgmental, loving energy, it comes back to you. The more and more you are yourself, the more and more people you will attract with the same energy. Because we resonate on certain frequency. If you experiment yourself, when you are angry or upset, your body language changes, your energy is different, you feel heavy. Or, on the other hand, when you are joyful, in love, for example, you are on the clouds, aren't you? Your energy is up somewhere. So that's what happens if you become yourself, receptive and non-judgmental. You will attract the right people and you will help other people to increase their energy.
Wow. So nothing is good and nothing is bad, and everything is good and everything is bad. That's such a freeing kind of mindset. Once you really feel that and I guess believe that or perceive that, then that must make life pretty fun, because then you can just like, I don't know, everything is good. Everything is good.
Not everything is good. Everything is as it is. Everything is meant to be, and I'm here to experience it. For example, if you think about a terrible life experience, I would question you if it was all terrible. I'm pretty sure you would find some positive things that later came up to the surface. For example, in my life, when my ex-wife left me, when I had to go through court hearings When financially I was challenged, it was really, really tough. I needed it. I grew from that experience. That gave me the opportunity to become the person who I am. If those things didn't happen to me, I'm still the same lost soul as I was before, maybe even worse. But now I don't need coping mechanisms. I can be myself. I can work with whoever I decide to work with. And that gave me this type of freedom. So all those terrible things were not terrible after all.
Yeah. That's a very freeing way of thinking, but it's also kind of uh, confusing because then, like, our normal path forward in life is I'm going to chase and pursue these good things, money and health and whatever the things you're supposed to get. And so you're focusing on the quote unquote good. Um, but I guess we're not looking for a good, happy life necessarily. We're looking for something else. Like you said, the bad is actually a huge core ingredient to fulfilling life. And if I look back on my life, like these things that are supposedly bad are like really some of my favorite things. This is my life. And so even like having a crappy job that you're complaining about, like I don't know,
That is your
is
wake up
it?
call. You are not at the right place.
Yeah.
Keep searching. Don't give up. There is something better waiting for you.
But even then, there's beauty in all this kind of suffering and pain and darkness, and yeah, it's not just that it leads to good things. It's like the thing itself is actually sort of. I mean, if you look at it, it is quite beautiful. It's actually almost more beautiful than the perfectly good thing. But I guess again, it's just confusing because what do we? And the question is, what do we do then? What do we do if we're not going to try to get these good things?
Everyone is different and everybody has a different pain threshold, for example. Everybody has a different clarity at that certain time. I wasn't connected. Some people are more connected to their intuition and gut feeling, and they read the signals earlier or sooner than I did. So it's beautiful because everybody is a unique fingerprint. There is no one size fits all. But we need to identify our highest values. If we know that, we realize what is the most important thing for us. And are we aligned with our true self? And our values will change from childhood to, I don't know, old age, because we will have different priorities. But you need to read yourself and realize when to assess and when to change your values. But without your values, you will be drifting aimlessly. If you have clear values, you can connect to that and you will get much further. For example, a lot of people, successful high achievers, they get to the top of the ladder. They have loads of money, but they will lose themselves in the process. They chase the wrong goals or long, I don't know, treasure, and they will lose their relationships, not only with themselves, but with others. And what's the point of winning a game when nobody is celebrating with you? There is a quote, I think it was Stephen R. Covey, who said, if the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step we take just gets us to the wrong place faster. And that's what people don't realize. We are chasing the wrong goals. We lost connecting with ourselves. We don't know anymore what is meaningful to us. And life has no meaning. We give meaning to life. We need to realize, who do we want to become? Do we smile when we look into the mirror? Do we love what we see in the mirror? Do we know what is important for us? If we can answer these questions easily, without pain, with confidence, we are on the right track.
How does Qigong connect with or differ from other Chinese practices or philosophies or whatever we want to call them, such as Tai Chi and Kung Fu?
Okay, Qigong is the original form, and Tai Chi and Kung Fu evolved from Qigong. So Tai Chi, I really do not know how old is Tai Chi, but Qigong is 4,000 years old. That is a specific, more complicated movement, constant flow in Tai Chi. Different steps and movements are connected together. That's why it's a little bit more challenging for a beginner to learn Tai Chi. Qigong is the best place. No equipments. For example, in the Shaolin Kung Fu, they use certain equipments, the sword, and different daggers, for example. I don't know what the equipments, but they need it for practicing. In Qigong, you need absolutely nothing. You can do it anytime, at any age, indoors, outside. It's fascinating. Qigong is not for those people who have excuses why not to live happier, healthier, and longer. Apart from that, it's so accessible, I can't see any excuse why not to do it. And it's so much fun. The others sometimes, for example, yoga, it is a stretch. I love yoga, but it's a stretch too far for my body sometimes. Sometimes you need to hold that position forever. And I don't want to hold that position forever. In Qigong, there is harmony. You can get relaxed in a subtle movement. And for me, that is so freeing. Nothing is stagnant and constant in life. Everything is in movement. And Qigong reflects that. So back to the original question. Qigong is the original art form, and Tai Chi and the Shaolin Kung Fu evolved from this. But Qigong is so complicated. It's part of the traditional Chinese medicine. And
Tai Chi is complicated, or Qigong is complicated.
It's not a simple movement, but that is a connection of different sets of movements. That's why it's more complicated. It's not just, for example, I'm lifting up my arms, but it is stepping somewhere, shifting the weight, moving the hand, and it's a more complicated journey. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just not for beginners.
Like a very natural nature, synchronized dance or something. I'm always, well, I've been traditionally pretty bad at dancing. It's not that I've tried that hard. And whenever I go to a dance class or something, I just get annoyed because I can't keep up with the steps. Just as in a yoga class, I can't keep up with stretch more, do this one. You're not doing it right, or doing it for a long time, or even another very easy exercise practice type thing that I started doing early on in this podcast a couple of years ago was something called Feldenkrais, and even that is very easy. You're literally just sitting still, making these super slow movements, but it drags on for 20, 30 minutes, and you feel like you can't just skip out. You got to complete the lesson. Qigong is the easiest, most effortless kind of movement or exercise or anything that I've ever tried. It sounds complicated. Qigong. I don't know. I know Qigong. You're a Qigong master or something. But it's interesting how it's so. Well, maybe I'm not doing it right, or I'm not an expert, but it's easy, but it's so, the benefits or the effects are so powerful. So that's just like a perfect little package there. And I'm not trying to sell it, but it's amazing how the effort to reward ratio is just really, really good.
It's really easy to demonstrate. You are a perfect example. You've never done it before. We had, I don't know, roughly 30 minutes, 40 minutes intro class, and you can get a sense of it. We are talking about something that is here for 4,000 years with numerous wisdoms, with more than 3,000 different Qigong styles. So it's really, can be complicated. But to experience the natural flow and feel good inside of your body is just so powerful. That's what we need, because we are disconnected. We are so busy all the time, running, pushing, faster, stronger, and we just forgot the ability to slow down and observe and relax and be happy.
How does qi connect to or relate to yin and yang? Are yin and yang types of qi? What are the different types of energy that we're working with during qigong? I'm just trying to get these vocabulary terms straight.
Basically, you have one energy, but they give you different frequencies. As I mentioned, you have, for example, the yang, that is the power, and there is the yin, that is the calm, the relaxation. But you need both of them in life. And you want to create that harmony that you need adapting to the certain situation. So that is the same energy moving through you, but you just basically circulate the yin and the yang inside of you. And if you think about that, the yang is going upwards and the yin is going downwards. For example, yin is Mother Earth. You are connected. It's a power that's coming, the esoteric energy that is coming through. We just don't know how to connect to it. But we can learn and improve. On the other hand, there is the universal energy above, Father Sky, that is coming from above. So if we are in between, we can receive both of these energies. And our body is a transmitter. Energy coming through us from the top, energy is absorbed from the Mother Earth as well. We just do not focus on it. We are focusing on chasing the wrong goals. As soon as we switch off and become more receptive, we will enjoy and absolutely love this beautiful energy that keeps us alive.
It's starting to make sense why we move slowly in Qigong too then. After you explain this yin and yang, it's almost like, and maybe this is common sense to people who are in this whole thing, they've studied Chinese philosophy or something in university. Okay, sorry guys. That movement, and especially fast movement, is very yang, and then stillness and non-movement is, I guess that's yin. Is there a kind of yin that is movement, or is it just what we're doing in Qigong is we're moving, which is the yang, and then the sort of, I don't know, the non-moving, the slowing down, the something in our mind or something, meditation or something, is the yin. Where does the yin and yang come into play in Qigong? And I have a follow-up question too of, well, are there certain exercises that can be like just blasting us into yang land and others that are like going to put us into yin, or is it always a sweet, harmonious mix?
It depends what you need. For example, if you do not have enough energy, but you would like to be more energized because you have to do some work, you have to do something important, you will need your energy, but you just feel weak, you are depressed, for example. We can shift our energy. We can become more energized. There are certain things, even acupressure points, that is part of the traditional Chinese medicine, kind of energy switches on our bodies that can activate the qi as well. So we can get more energy when we need them. On the other hand, when we need the calm flow state, you do not want to be agitated, on your feet, bouncing with energy, because it's not the right place to create. Then you need to cool down that fire. And when you learn to do that, you can change your state. That's why it's good to know those exercises, for example, or practices that energize you, give you more yang, or helps you to calm situation. For example, if you are stressed, you do not need more yang energy because that's what is burning you. It leads to burnout. You need to cool that fire down, and that's why you use yin or mindfulness practices. It depends what you need, and there is a Qigong for that.
Yeah. Well, when I'm cranked up in with yang, I kind of want more, but that is what burns you out and almost like brings on mania or psychosis in some people, or just burnout and death or whatever. But I'm not so such an expert on Qigong. So if I just go on YouTube and watch some Qigong lesson, how do I know if it's going to be energizing me or calming me down? Because I don't want to be drinking an espresso, at 10 p.m. and I don't want to be drinking some chamomile tea in the morning. Well, I guess I could, but that's not what I need at that time. So how do I know?
Well, you need to, as in life, you need to learn how to connect with your true self, with your gut feeling, with your intuition. When you feel something is the right thing to do, you need to get that connection. I learned from many teachers. I didn't really have that connection with them, but I learned certain exercises that helps me on my journey. But they are not those who I refer to as my mentors, who I resonate with. You need to find those teachers. So just doing exercises from internet is a good start, I would say. But if you would like to get into deeper, it's better to find a teacher who can explain in more depth. I'm learning every day. It's such a deep subject and I love it. Will I ever will be a master? I don't think so, because I can learn every day something new. The most important is you need to feel Qigong is right for you. As soon as it isn't, look for the next video or next teacher and you will be rewarded. If it doesn't feel right, there is a reason for that. You either do not get the right information or you are missing something. If you get everything right, you will enjoy it. You will love it, I promise.
After doing the online live lesson Qigong thing with you, I did watch some YouTube videos. Some were with you, but some were with others. And although the effect was quite powerful still, it wasn't the same as the time I did it with you. I'm wondering if that was because it was my first time or it's because we are actually connected in some way. And then it makes me think it might even be better to do it in person. That might also change things. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the medium, whether it's just a recorded video versus a live online lesson versus a one in person?
The key is, as I look at it or as I see it, is the course correction. When you do it alone, nobody, if you do follow an online exercise or video, nobody will correct you. If nobody will correct you, there is a chance you will learn the wrong way, where the energy won't flow as effectively. On the other hand, when you work with somebody who spots certain signals why you do not do it the right way and corrects you straight away at the beginning, now you create a base, a stronger base, and you can build a taller tower on it. So that is it. When we were working together, even though I love my Qigong exercise, but it's not the time for me to fully enjoy. I have a responsibility to look at you and pass on the best information I have to you, to my client. And I was watching you all the time. And do you remember? Sometimes I said, now you just try to lift your arms a bit more up, or just try to be more relaxed when you swing onto the side. These course corrections help you to get the Qi flowing more naturally and for you to have a much better experience.
Yeah, but you were nice. There was one movement, although I explained Qigong as being very simple and easy, there was one time where I was like, I was kind of swinging my arms and whacking the sides of my shoulders and things, and I was doing it, I guess, wrong, and you were correcting me, but then I still wasn't getting it, and then you just kind of let it go and moved on to the next one, and that was sort of nice that you didn't keep pushing me.
No, it's not about that. In Qigong, as I mentioned, there is no pain. I'm not here to force you. It's a stretch, not a stress. It's not a stressor. It's something that helps you to feel better. If you are not ready for a movement, that is fine. We will do it differently, or we will find another exercise will get you the same results. There are, I don't know how many millions of different exercises. So if you don't nail one at the first time, no problem. The most important to enjoy it. The most important, a lot of other exercises do not give you is the enjoyment, because you are forcing, you are kind of a little bit putting too much pressure onto your body. In Qigong, you give the best to your body, what it deserves.
This is kind of a joke. I'm just setting you up because I like when you say this. But what are some of the side effects of Qigong?
It's a good one. I've heard it from one of my mentors that Qigong has many side effects. Fortunately, they are all positive. So what he's meaning by that, if you would like to reduce your stress and you do some exercises that helps you, in the meantime, you don't realize, but you lower your blood pressure, you slow down your breathing, you will clear your blood basically, you will help your internal organs to have a breather and work better and get in more harmony. There are so many positive side effects that you do not even realize. So you do Qigong for one reason, and you will become more flexible. You will move more freely. You will smile more. So there are so many positive side effects. Guys, if you haven't tried it before, just give it a go. If it's not for you, that's fine. But try it, because there is a chance you are missing out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just it's not just my brain. Obviously, this thing's been around for thousands of years. But it is a really sweet medicine for me. It's hard to find something that puts me in that. I need more calm. It calms me down. But I do like the energizing stuff too. So it gives me just the right sweet mix. It's the perfect little supplement for me. You're in the UK and you've been there for a while now. What are some of the problems or challenges that you've noticed? Maybe it's common sense. Maybe it's all over the news, perhaps. Some of the problems or challenges for people in the UK right now, and I guess how might Qigong help with some of those?
Well, I do not watch much telly, so if you're asking about the
Good,
news, I cannot help you out. On
great.
the other hand, I watch people. And not only here in the UK, but all over the world. So it was back in Hungary and everywhere else. People are stressing too much unnecessarily. We stress too much and we do not enjoy our life as we should. We do not know who we are. We do not know what makes us feel happy without the negative side effects. We cannot maintain our happiness. We cannot share our happiness with others. I think the greatest thing, that disconnection and the too much stress, that is a global issue. And if I can help a few people to change that in their world, that will affect many, many different worlds around them. So I think Qigong is one of the great ways. I'm a coach as well. I help people to look forward. I can help them with therapy that is looking backwards to find the patterns. What are the obstacles they are having right now? But Qigong is what glues everything together. The past, the future, the present moment, and enjoy the present, look for the future, and forgive your past and let go and use it as a best support.
I have just a couple more questions about Qigong. One is breath. You had me close my mouth, breathe in and out through my nose. There weren't any, well, there may have been that I've forgotten clear instructions on speed or, I don't know, patterns or whatever. But how does one breathe during Qigong? And again, there might not be any rules. Maybe it's just something you feel and, what feels right or whatever. But yeah, let's talk about breath a little bit.
It's really important because breath is the bridge between our body and mind. With slow breathing, we can reduce the tension in our body. And with slow, deep breathing, we can reduce the anxiety in our brain. This is really important. If we want to harmonize everything, we learn to focus on our breathing. That is one of the most important things. If you think about it, you can live without food for about 3 weeks. You can live without water for up to 3 days, but maximum 3 minutes without oxygen, and you are no longer here. So it's that important. We just do not know how to breathe the healthy way, like children do when they are born. Lower abdominal breathing. So back to the speed, for example. Speed is not always as important because we are different individuals. If you think about a smoker who have smaller lung capacity, or somebody after coming out from the hospital won't be able to breathe that deeply and that long as I do, who practice Qigong every day. Everybody needs to feel what is right for them. That's why Qigong is so supportive. It supports your growth, your improvement. No matter where you are, there is a Qigong for you. If you are in bed, there is a Qigong for you. If you are sitting, you cannot stand up, there is a Qigong for you. If you are active, there is a Qigong for you. So back to the breathing. Not many people know, or we are not taught, breathing through our nose is so much more effective and good for our body. For example, if we breathe through the mouth, that creates anxiety and tension. If we breathe through our nose, that sends calming signal to the brain, firstly. Secondly, it has a filter, those hairs, that filters from anything in the air that we do not want to get into our lungs. And it gives, as far as I know, 20% more oxygen to our lungs compared to when we breathe through our mouth. So breathing through our nose is important, extremely important. Sometimes when we want to let things go, we then use our mouth to breathe out. That is, if you think about laughing, crying, you use your mouth and you just get rid of a lot of energy, because that would build up in you. But in general, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the nose, unless there is other requirement for a specific exercise. But most of the time, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the nose.
Have you played around with your senses with this? Say, um, vision, eyes open versus eyes closed. Maybe looking at something like you're watching some trippy natural movements of water while you're doing it, or with your ears, silence versus music or certain kinds of music, or maybe you took it further and you combine it with taste or smell, or I know touch is sometimes part of it. You're touching parts of your body, but yeah, have you played around with the some of your senses with this, and if you did, what are some things you discovered, at least for yourself?
So it's really important, and thank you very much for bringing it up. I wasn't thinking about it, but I was reading my notes the other day, and from one of my master, the instruction says, or the teaching says, you do not practice Qigong while listening to a music with lyrics in it, or having a flute as a musical instrument in it. I don't know the reason. Maybe it gets too much agitation to the brain. I don't know. The second, what you mentioned, so you can listen to any music that helps you to switch off. I don't know if it's, I don't know, heavy metal for someone. I don't think that is the right type of music to get you into, a receptive state. On the other hand, the vision, if you think about that, our 5 senses were designed to keep us alive. Our eyes are the most evolved. Our ear is okay, but we need to know what is poisonous. That's why, the taste. And evolutionary, we need to stay alive. That is the most important. But a certain part of our brain doesn't know what keeps us alive in 20 years' time. What it says, so far, that beer gave you satisfaction and you are not dead, so let's have more beer. But certain part of our body needs to look further. And that's why if we are hijacked by our senses, like our eyes, we cannot really connect inside. These are the danger receptors. And if you are kind of looking for danger, you cannot relax. So what I found, many exercises work best if you have a good balance by the time and you can close your eyes and relax into the movement. That is the best. When you keep your eyes open, that is fine as well, but make sure you do not really search with your eyes everywhere, but get a spot somewhere and try to not focus on it, but kind of keep your eyes to that direction, but do not really focus on anything. So you're not watching, you are just keep your eyes open and looking to the same distance. You don't change your head or anything. And you will become into a meditative mode. If you are looking at something, your brain will identify things and label things. That's a telly, that's a bed, that's a pot of plant. Now you are not relaxing, you are analyzing. If you want to relax, either you just gaze somewhere or try to close your eyes. That's what helps for me.
This might also explain the difference in the effects or the experience of when you're watching it on YouTube. Basically, you're staring at the screen while you're doing Qigong, which is sort of contradictory. Whereas if you're doing it in person, you can, be there with that beautiful person there with you.
And that is an important thing you mentioned. I tapped into it. It's a non-competitive exercise. If there is a larger class, many people are there, nobody is worrying about what the other people are thinking about them because everybody is busy looking inside and moving that way that gives them the best outcome. So that's why it's wonderful. If you learn not to look out, you will tune in and you will enjoy the ride.
Do you have any favorite exercises or even just favorite names of exercises?
Favorite names, yes. Favorite exercises, honestly, plenty. Maybe the exercise that I practice the most is the knocking on the door of life. By the way, door of life is an acupuncture point. I love the picking cherries. What else? There are so many more. Monkey picks the fruit. That is a fantastic exercise that twists the body and reaching out. It's a lot of fun. Lots of them with the dragon stretches its tail. Owl turn its head. Absolutely, plenty of different exercises using either animals or a certain movement or nature. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and you've got a website, tamascoach.com, and people can book a free meeting with you on there, and then if they like it, they can do a longer paid sessions. So that's available online, I guess, for people all around the world. That's great. I found you through LinkedIn, so people can also message you there, chat with you there. And then is there anywhere else you recommend? There's LinkedIn, there's your website, tamascoach.com. You got a YouTube channel. I think that's also Tamas at Tamas Coach. Anything else?
That's correct, Tamas Coach. You can have a look at the Qigong, but in case you feel stuck or not as happy as you would like to be, I'm a holistic life coach as well. Qigong is one of the tools I use to help people to get to where they want to as soon as they can. I have loads of free inspirational posts on my Facebook and Instagram accounts, but I'm most active on LinkedIn. The Facebook is Tamas Konya and the Instagram is at Tamas Coach. I think that is the same as the YouTube channel. So guys, I'm more than happy to chat. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Well, I appreciate this. This, I guess, we're having a little relationship at this point. This is our third time meeting. Not that kind of relationship. Don't worry. But it's great. It's great that the kindness coming from you. We just connected, and then we had a little chat for 30 minutes or so, maybe longer. And then we did the Qigong lesson last time, and then now we're doing this. And this is actually quite rare. Usually, I'll interview someone, and it'll be a cold, like, nice to meet you, and 2 minutes later, we're doing the interview. There are a few guests that I met beforehand, and I think this is the first time maybe where it's the third time we met. So this is also very qigong of us and very nice. I appreciate this, and it also gives me hope that you're not just going to disappear, and that this might continue. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this thing flows, and I enjoyed swimming in these qigong waters with you today. Thanks again, Tamas.
Michael, thank you so much. And yeah, the same for you. Please don't be a stranger. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to share what I know. Thank you very much for having me, Michael.
I also noticed that in the beginning of the conversation, I was a bit rigid and nervous, and I wasn't like, I don't know, maybe I was trying to be something or whatever, but as it went on, and maybe it's just all in my head, I don't know, but I do feel I did kind of loosen up and got into the flow of conversation, and part of that might be your energy, or might have been the flowy topic of qigong, and I never really got to where I wanted to be, and I guess that's life, but I did notice a little difference in myself. Yeah, that's interesting.
Michael, that is when you do not look outside for answers, but you were observing what is going on. And fantastic, you noticed how you feel and you can verbalize it, you can share it. That is fantastic. Now, there are multiple reasons for that. I don't know what were you expecting from our conversation, so what were in your head? I don't know how was your day, so what did you go through before our call? What I can tell you, I was totally fine because I'm physically healthy, I'm happy, I'm in a good mood. I did some exercises and I was excited and looking forward to chatting with you and share some ideas. So energy is contagious. So of course, either you will bring my energy down or I help you to lift your energy. And fortunately, it was this way where I share my energy and you feel better at the end of the call. Maybe you were excited about the topic, and that helps us when something is in our interest or we are interested to learn something, we learn more, we are more excited. If it would have been about, I don't know, tell me a topic you are not interested, after 1 hour conversation, you
construction equipment.
For example, you will be drained. So it's a lot of things together. So don't be harsh on yourself. And there is one more difference I can tell. I'm standing throughout this conversation, so my life force energy can flow over my body. And if I feel a discomfort or stagnation, I can adjust my position. I can move slightly. I can densify like. That's fine. But you are sitting and it's more challenging for your body to feel natural. So there are a lot of things, but the most important thing, I'm so proud of you, Michael, because you noticed what is going on. Well done.
Yeah, man, I should have got that. Should have got that standing desk. But yeah, you're totally right. I did one interview at my previous apartment. I had a little weird ledge that I would use as a kind of standing desk. And actually, no, the reason I used it is because I was moving out and I had to get rid of the desk. So there was no desk, but I had the interview. So I'm like, oh crap, how am I going to do this? So I found this makeshift desk that forced me to stand up, and actually editing, everything went better that way. It was not just an interview. All the work was there, but I feared that if I bought a standing desk, I would stop using it because that's what they say people do. Do you is that what you're using right now? Or are you using
No,
it?
not at all, not at all. I'm resourceful. If you would see my desk, that is a taller, narrow table that people usually live in townhouses on corridors and put some flower on it. I have an additional shelf on the top of it, a small shelf, and I have my laptop's box that increases the height and where I can make some notes. So that is it. I have a desk, I have a small glass shelf, and I have a computer box. That's what I use, and that's what works for me. So I personally do not invest that much in furniture. I just use what I have.
And you're right. I am very excited about this topic, and I think that is part of it. I wrote all these notes, and I've been meditating on it and thinking about it, and getting excited about this Taoist aspect and the yin and the yang and all this kind of philosophy. But then I also want to learn how to do it, and it's just like there's too much. and I'm too excited about it. And that, but it's also a new topic for me to talk about. So there's that rookie aspect that comes in, but maybe that's okay. It's kind of cool to try something new that you're excited about, and then maybe just realize when you're doing something new that you're excited about, you might fumble a bit in the beginning, and that's kind of cool. It's good. It's a good sign. Oh, I found something I care about. And I was looking forward to this conversation with you. And yeah, thank you for this.
What's the harm in that when you enjoy doing something and has no negative side effects, but potentially positive side effects? So excitement is fantastic. Childlike curiosity is fantastic. The call on an adventure, incredible. A lot of people are just disconnected from their inside. And that is what we need to do more. Michael, you are doing the right stuff. Look at your energy. Whatever brings you energy and doesn't deplete others or do not harm your nature or things or your surroundings, make sure you do it more. You are here for a limited time. Make sure you have the best time ever.